the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Turn 3 Racing Network. As tonight, we're here for some Thursday night short track action as the Upstate Racing League brings you Beth's colorful throwback 125 here at North Wilkesboro. Thank you very much for joining us here tonight. My name is KR Solfus, and in the booth with me is the illustrious, the oh so handsome, and the ever so grounded Kelly Dahl. How you doing out there tonight, Kelly?
Oh, I'm not doing so bad, but you said handsome. KR, have you ever seen me?
I have. Handsome was the nicest word I could say.
Ah, okay. We're just keeping it family friendly for the broadcast. I got you.
Yeah, right. I don't listen. People don't need to be throwing up by the words that have to be used to describe your face.
The reason why I have a beard behind most of it. But we are now finished practice, moving on to qualifying, and as usual, the fairly unique group qualifying that the Upstate Racing League runs. So cars will be allowed out on the track at about 4 at a time, depending on how many drivers have shown up tonight out of these groups, and they will all run 2 laps each. Our top 16 will immediately be locked into the show. The rest will have to go through our LCQ.
Several drivers gonna have to battle it out in the LCQ. And Kelly, you know as well as I do that nothing's ever easy here with the Upstate Racing League, because there's a lot of talent in these drivers behind the wheel.
There is absolutely a ton of talent behind the wheel here, especially this season. I mean, I'm looking at the standings right now, and some of the drivers that are on the outside looking in of the chase were guys that would normally be locked in previous seasons, but just with the amount of talent we've brought in, especially this season, it is just a tough competition to even make the show.
That it is. But Beth's colorful creation 125 here at North Wilkesboro, going to be, I'm going to be honest, Kelly, I've watched a couple races here at North Wilkesboro, but this is the first time I have seen the super stocks, if you want to call them, the super late model, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, everyone just kind of goes for the cup cars or the old 86 cup cars here, and honestly, this is my first time seeing the super late models here as well, and it is still a short track, though a little bigger than kind of what we've been running these last few weeks at a few of these tracks.
Well, while we have a moment, let's go ahead and talk about our point situation coming in to our race here tonight. Bill Martin leading the points with 429 accumulated points. Mike Alexander, a solid season for Mike, finding himself in second. And then Justin Fuller, Guillaume Fortin, and Joe Schaefer rounding out your top 5. But the really interesting story is everyone around the bubble here, as this is the last race of the regular season. And Kelly, Justin McDuff right now holds on to 10th place in the point standings. But Chris Stump, AJ Rogers, Al Smith, Matthew Barkhouse, they're all right there, and they are very hungry drivers.
Yeah, it is a bit of a steep hill. I mean, Stump's got 14 points to make up, Rogers 26, Barkhouse and Al Smith Jr. each have to make up 28 points. So McDuff just has to focus on getting a solid finish here tonight. But there are still a few drivers above him that are also on the bubble. Edson and Marinac are also only 22 and 24 points respectively over that cutoff line. So These guys have to focus on not going for the big points, but going for the sure points. As long as they make sure they don't wreck out early on, they should be good to make it into the chase.
Stefan Marinak, who had an outstanding season shaping up, but then missed a few races, that has put him kind of on his back foot. And since then, everyone is kind of, trying to take advantage of it. But Stefan, 328 points. Justin McDuff, 318, just 10 points right now. All he has. And, man, it's going to be a close one for Stefan.
Yeah, Marinak does only have 5 starts that count compared to everyone else's 6, but even still, with those 5 starts, all 5 were top 10s, 4 of them were top 5s, and 1 of them was a win. So that was good enough to keep him in chase contention. And like I said, as long as he makes sure he focuses and has a good race, he should still make the chase. And after that, points reset, and he'll still have a chance to go for the championship.
All right, so as the drivers start to roll out for our first qualifying session, we get ready to bring you our group number 1. Looks like we're going to have Brian Jones, Andrew Plank in the 64, the first one at the green cone, Trey Edson, and then the 45 machine of Justin Smith. 4 cars lining up here. I don't know about you, Kelly. This could be a interesting qualifying time here tonight.
There's a couple decent drivers in this first qualifying group, but like you said, it's just the start of the night. You basically have to put your time in, and then you just sit there and watch and wait and just hope that nobody beats you. And here comes Andrew Plank across the line for to start his first time run of the night, keeping it nice and low through turns 1 and 2. And I think that might be the line here tonight through 1 and 2, is just keeping it low. I saw during practice a lot of guys were staying high in 3 and 4, but for qualifying, looks like he's going to stay low. Across the line at 18.323 for the first time.
Andrew Plank with an 18.323, but Trey Edson in the 25 going to take over the top spot. Brian Jones in the number 9 machine as he works his way off of turn number 4. He's going to go across the line and hold on to third with Justin Smith just pipping him for third spot here. Brian Jones falling to 4th as this qualifying session first group gets done.
Andrew Plank was able to improve on his second lap with an 18.197, so just under 2/10 he was able to save, but still not quite able to get to where Trey Edson was. That was a very quick lap, and that may sit on the leaderboard for a while. In practice, these guys, only a couple guys were actually able to get under 18 seconds.
So as our next group of drivers begins to roll out, Colin Phillip in the 53 out on the speedway. Right now, he is the only one up to speed. Justin Fuller starting to gain some speed out there as well. And Phillip making his way around.
Justin Fuller, he was able to put down an 18.049, so just short of Trey Edson, but still a very quick lap. Phillip with 18.323, and oh, Fuller looked like he was on another good lap, but just lost it off of turn 4, so that is going to completely count that lap out, but still an 18.049, that's still a very solid lap time.
So 2 cars in that qualifying group. Next set of drivers already staged and ready to roll out. That is Wayne McDuff in the 1 machine. That is the 81 of Jimmy McIntyre right behind him, beginning to roll out. So here we go with group. Is this number 3? Group number 3. Jeremy Carpenter in the 7. And of course, Justin McDuff in the 20.
So McDuff looking to have a good lap time here just to start off on the right foot and keep him above that chase cutoff line. We'll see if he's going to be able to put the laps together. He was able to run an 18.077 in practice. He's got to get up towards an 18.031 in qualifying though.
to McDuff across the line. Jimmy McIntyre in the 81 machine right now finds himself third quickest. Justin McDuff moves to fourth. Jeremy Carpenter finding himself in fifth, and Wayne McDuff all the way down in eighth spot for the moment. That one machine looking for a good run here on that. Well, I guess his qualifying session is done. I thought maybe he had one more lap, but looks like Wayne McDuff going to settle for eighth place for the moment.
It looks like a lot of these guys didn't really improve their time on the second run. McDuff was just a few hundredths of a second off. McIntyre, I believe, as well, actually didn't get that second time, so he'll just be going off his first time. And a lot of these guys seem to really be putting everything into that first qualifying lap while the tires are still fresh, but still kind of cold.
Gareth Gonder out on the speedway, along with Matt McLean in the 88 and Brett Bartels in the 42. Beautiful paint job on that 42. Love that black and gold. Guess that's kind of gold, almost like a brass.
Well, we have a new quick time. Gareth Gonder, 18.028. However, he gets loose in turns 1 and 2 on a second lap, so his hot lap will only be the first lap, but that's still a very good time to start out with.
Matt Eddy in the 87 machine going across the line, and Matt Eddy finding himself in 6th place. Brett Bartels now in 11th, and Matt McLean in the 88 has yet to post a time, so maybe that 88 machine has tagged the wall a little bit, and that's going to cost him in this qualifying session.
Yeah, I'm going to take a quick look at what happened with the 88 here and see where he may have gotten to the wall.
As the next group rolls out, this will include Speedy Brissett in the 03, a new paint job for the 03. Throwback to the Bandit series. That white and green paint scheme makes its way out onto the speedway. Joe Schaefer in the 6, out for qualifying. Guys, better keep a close eye on this 6 machine. He is out for blood here tonight and able to lay down a very quick qualifying time as he goes right to the top of the leaderboard. Joe Schaefer setting a 17.94 fastest time so far here tonight. Matthew Barkhouse in the 15, gonna settle in at an 18 flat. He moves into 2nd spot. So right now, Joe Schaefer, Matthew Barkhouse, and Gareth Gonder make up your top 3 in the qualifying. Speedy Brissett moves into 12th spot. And Kelly, 16 cars have taken a time.
16 cars have, so our cutoff point has become Brian Jones in the 9 with an 18.633. So any driver that is faster than that will bump Jones down. And quick update on the 88, what happened to him on his first qualifying lap. He tagged the wall off of turn 4. Second qualifying lap, he tagged the wall just outside of 2. So unfortunate for him, just enough to scrape the wall and disqualify both those qualifying times. But Joe Schaefer, that was an insane time that he put down.
Brian Rogers in the 12 machine, making his way around the speedway along with the 96 of Al Smith Jr. Chris Stump in the 98 out there as well. And Guillaume Fortin in the 13 machine, and Guillaume moving into the top 5. Chris Stump moves into 8th. Al Smith 11th. That is going to put Brett Bartels, Brian Rogers, Justin Smith, and Brian Jones all into the LCQ.
No one able to challenge Joe Schaefer Jr. in his time just yet, but still a few very quick times being laid down in that group. Both Stump and Fortin putting down 18 zeros, but still have to shave a 10th off if they wanted to match the pace of that 6 machine.
As we get ready for another group of drivers to roll out, the 11 machine of Brian Hacker, one of the first ones to get up to speed on the speedway. 20 times have been submitted, and Brian Hacker on the clock for his first lap. Justin Rigsby in the 99 machine out there as well. And AJ Hamill in the 18 Slim Jim machine, trying to lay down a good lap as well.
11 of Brian Hacker coming across the line now, 18.093. So that puts him on the lower end of the 18s. AJ Hamill nearly challenging Schaefer and Barkhouse, but he can't quite break the 18-second mark. 18.018. That's going to be good enough for third at the moment. Hacker is going to pull it down pit road, so he is not going to go around for that second run. Hamill is going to finish it out, but is not going to be faster. And Rigsby going to pull up before the line as well, so he's going to be outside of the main event cutoff point. He'll have to go through the LCQ.
Rigsby with a big slide coming off of turn number 4, digging hard. And Justin Rigsby had the fastest time in practice. And here he is only going to be able to qualify in 19th spot. So crew chief got to be scratching his head about what happened there.
Yeah, unfortunately, Rigsby just couldn't quite get it together in time for the qualifying. And looking at his times, it doesn't exactly look like he made a huge mistake. It just seems like maybe he was taking too long of a break and was a little cold, or just kind of made some small errors and couldn't quite figure out where his fast time is. But now here comes Bill Martin, one of our fastest drivers of the season, as well as Steph Marinac, Jeremy Watkins, and Mike Alexander. So very fast drivers.
Steph Marinac running a very familiar throwback paint scheme. That is the Rainbow Warriors 24 of Jeff Gordon. He makes his way around. Marinac only good enough for 10th spot. Mike Alexander in the 75 though, he's got no problems getting into the 18 or sub 18 second bracket. He moves all the way up into 2nd spot.
While watching Bill Martin come around, and he's only going to be good enough for an 18.050. I watched his first lap. He was using this first lap to set up his second lap, and he was running high through turns 3, cut down for 4 to really extend that front straightaway and get as much of a shot down the straight. But it actually seems like, oh no, it looks like he's just missed the pole position really for hitting that the 8 spot invert. I think if I counted right, he's in 9th, so just behind Justin Fuller, if that's kind of what he was aiming for.
Yeah, I do see him in 9th spot, so maybe he was trying to sandbag it a little bit, but you know what? Play the game, and sometimes it plays you back.
However, he barely missed it by just a 1,000th of a second. So a 0.49 for Fuller, 0.50 for Martin. But he is going to be starting just ahead of Stump and Marinac. So that is a good group of guys right there. And then actually they're going to have Schaefer right in front of them after the invert. But I believe we are completely done our qualifying. So that means our fast time will be Joe Schaefer Jr., 17.937. So our fastest driver of the night, that number 6 machine.
All right, guys, no one go anywhere. We're going to step away for a quick second. We'll be right back after this.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Kabang Energy Candy contains 100% of vitamins B6, B12, and C, plus ginseng. And the best part is, no caffeine. Kabang Energy Candy is sold everywhere, including participating Walgreens. Kabang Energy Candy, it's bangalicious.
Bowling brings people together.
Right down the middle. You got it. Uh-oh. Good job.
Do what you can do, man.
Wait.
That's a strike right there. Woo! Connect with family and friends. Go bowling.
The Upstate Racing League Season 10 on the Turn 3 Racing Network is brought to you by Butt Kicker. Feel what you've been missing. Arts Barbershop. R&R Auto.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready to fire off our last chance qualifier. And we really can't call it last chance qualifier, but we will anyways. Everyone here going to be able to make the show tonight. So let's get right into our starting lineup for our LCQ. Al Smith, Jeremy Carpenter on row number 1. Row number 2 going to be made up of Andrew Plank and Colin Phillip. Row 3 will be Speedy Brissett and Wayne McDuff. Justin Rigsby, Brett Bartels in row number 4. Row 5 will be Brian Rogers and Justin Smith. Row 6, Brian Jones and Matt McLean. And Jeremy Watkins in the 77, scheduled to start in 13th spot, but not able to make the call to the grid. And Kelly, you got more info on that one.
Yeah, he made the announcement during qualifying. He's feeling a little under the weather, had to step out, and it's a good thing for some of these drivers. They may say that it was a good thing because now they have gone underneath their 29 car threshold. Everyone will make the show now. They will not be sending 2 cars home. So every single driver that you see in the LCQ right now will make the main event. The LCQ just going to decide the back half of the field and how they take to the green flag.
So with the pace car getting ready to peel off, the 96 of Al Smith going to be in control of this field as the green flag waves, and we are underway for a 12-lap LCQ with everyone making the show. And Al into turn number 1 gets a clean break. Everyone else still side by side.
Yeah, he was able to really get a good jump on that initial start. Everyone kind of behind him jockeying for position. Few cars washing way up the racetrack. That looked like the 0-3 of Brissett washing up, nearly getting into the 1. Again, forcing the 1 of McDuff to go way up high. Now they're 3 wide and McDuff gets turned. Big crash down the back straightaway. That's going to collect about 4 cars. The 99's involved. Looks like the 9 as well of Brian Jones and the 12 of Brian Rogers Jr. involved.
The Brian Rogers in the 12 off through the grass. Several other drivers getting a piece of this one as well. The 99 of Justin Rigsby getting caught up. Looks like Wayne McDuff and Brett Bartels are going to get together coming off of turn 2. That triggers the chain reaction.
And a few cars with damage in the field now. That's Wayne McDuff's car having some pretty heavy damage to that front end as he got pushed hard into the wall after getting turned down into the 99 machine. And looks like the 1 just may not have realized that they were starting to go 3 wide. He was trying to get himself back down into the second lane, but there was a car with his nose in there. Looks like the 12 as well was involved. I took a quick look at his race car. He didn't look so bad, and 88 Matt McLean kind of got into him, but McLean just a little bit of crumple to his front end, should be able to keep going.
All right, so with the lights on the Ford Mustang, one thing to note here as well, no tires will be available in our main event. That means no tires available also for the LCQ. So 12 laps for this LCQ. Really not going to burn up tires here on these super late models, but some of these guys hitting pit road to try and work out some damage. Justin Rigsby in the 99 trying to rejoin the race. He stays on the lead lap. These guys are out there for starting positions, and Rigsby trying to do all he can to gain as many spots as possible.
It could very much be possible that these guys have maybe knocked out the toe on some of their cars or maybe damaged the steering. So trying to get that straightened out a little bit to have a bit of a better shot in this LCQ to improve their starting position for the feature event. But at the same time, it doesn't really hurt to get a little more practice, even if you are going to be on the back of the field.
All right, so here we go once again. The 96 of Al Smith, the 7 of Jeremy Carpenter. Very familiar positions. These two just had to go through a initial start like that. And the 96 of Al Smith gets on the throttle, and away we go once again. And Al Smith getting a good jump here in this LCQ.
Yeah, but Carpenter and Plank both had cleaner starts this time. They keep the gap a little bit tighter. Oh, the Plank is going to get into Carpenter, turn him around off of turn 4, and caution is out once again. Cars scrambling to get around, and the 1 of Wayne McDuff going to get involved at the end as well.
So yellow flag coming out one more time, and this one happening as the 7 coming off of turn number 4. Plank in the 64 really got a good run, and it almost looked like he thought the 7 was going to get going, and things just did not work out the way they thought.
Yeah, it looks like the 7 may have gone into the corner a little too hot, kind of washes up a little bit in the middle of the racetrack, and just doesn't get a good exit and really catches the 64 off guard as he's expecting that 7 to start accelerating, but that car does not get going. Unfortunately, gets into the quarter panel and spins him around, and with everyone still bunched up from the restart, it does collect a few more cars. Like that 03 Brissett, he gets hit he hits the front end against the 7, and then gets rear-ended hard by Matt McLean. So probably some good damage to that 03 car. Hopefully he still is able to keep it going.
So Al Smith continuing to lead this LCQ in the coach's corner 96 machine. 10th season of Upstate Racing League, and final race of this 10th season regular season. Al Smith has a lot on the line here tonight. He would like to make that championship battle. He is on the outside looking in.
Yeah, he is one of those drivers that just passed the cutoff line. He is sitting only 28 points behind, so he would like to win this LCQ, put him into a better starting position to start 17th on the main event, and maybe try to work his way up through the field for some good points. So this really is a bit of an uphill battle for that 96 machine, but lights are out on the pace car, and we are going to get back going in just a moment.
Single file restart the 96, and this time the 53 of Colin Phillip gonna get at it, and Andrew Plank in the 64 in a third. Everyone single file into turn number 1 as the 96 pulls away once again. Brett Bartels in the 42, moving up a few spots. He has gained 4 positions and right now finds himself in 4th place. Speedy Brissett in the 03 machine holding on to 5th, but he has a hard charging Matt McLean in the 88 all over his back bumper.
And another problem that Brissett is going to be dealing with is the damage on his race car. Pretty banged up front end, but still carrying a good amount of speed, and is for the most part able to hold off Matt McLean for the time being. We're just about halfway through this LCQ, so he's going to have to hold off that 88 machine for a few laps more if he wants to hang on to that 5th place.
Colin Phillip in the 53 trying to chase down the 96 of Al Smith, but Al out in front. We have 6 laps to go here in this LCQ.
64 washing up the racetrack, and the 03 Brissett getting sideways off of turn 4. He's going to lose a ton of ground, but we are going to stay green as he's able to regather his car. I think he may have bounced off the inside wall to straighten himself up, but that drops him all the way down into, I believe that's going to be 10th place, just in front of Brian Jones. So big problems. That 03 was running well in 5th, but just lost it off of turn 4.
So with
and now Rigsby gets
contact
into the 1.
The 1 machine goes around, and the yellow flag going to come out. Wayne McDuff going for a spin. Take a look at this one. It's the 99 of Rigsby Just a gentle tap was enough to send that one machine around. Looked pretty gentle from here, but we were to ask Wayne McDuff, that one was clearly Rigsby out for blood.
I mean, they are coming off the corner. That rear end is going to be a little light as they're kind of on the edge of grip, and just a shot to that quarter panel is going to knock it out of balance, sent him around pretty quickly. And this one of Wayne McDuff just not having a good LCQ has been involved. He's been involved in every single caution so far, either the initial part or just getting caught up in the accident later. But just a tough night so far for that one machine.
The Wayne McDuff in 12th spot. The good news is, as rough as this LCQ has been for the one, he is still going to make his way in, but might have to do a little bit of extra work once he makes the main event.
Yeah, that is one good thing that he can look at, is that every car here is going to make the show. He doesn't have to worry about making it past the cutoff line, even if he comes in with a whole bunch of bad luck in the LCQ. In the end, it won't really matter because he will still have just as good a shot as anyone else in the main event. Though, if you finish the LCQ in the back, you'll be starting in the back of the main event, and that's going to be a tall order. But in the end, really anyone, as long as you're in the final race, you can win it.
All right, lights go out on the pace car. We get ready to send these guys off once again and try and wrap up this LCQ. Our third caution of the night. Single file restart for this one. We're gonna have 3 laps to go when the green flag comes out. Ford Mustang gets out of the way. Al Smith gets on the throttle as soon as he can, and he gets a good jump once again. Colin Phillip trying to give chase 3 more times around for this LCQ.
And really, these restarts are hurting Phillip, because every time he gets to start to close the gap towards Smith, but Smith is going to have those advantages on these restarts. Now the 53 into the wall, Plank not quite able to capitalize on the mistake. Now I'm going to slide to the track, leave an opening for Brett Bartels. He's going to try to go to the inside, going to get his nose in there, but not quite able to hold off the position. Now the 64 going to take away that third place once again. Now the 12 of Brian Rogers getting shuffled up the racetrack.
White flag, final time around. The 96, who has led every lap here in the LCQ, gonna send it off into turn number 3 and come off at turn number 4 and pick up the win here in the last chance qualifier. Colin Phillip gonna end up in second. Andrew Plank rounds out your top 3. Everyone making the show here tonight, so that is a wonderful news for all of these drivers. And Kelly, I don't know about you, but looks like it's time to maybe do a little bit of warm-up for these drivers. So with that being said, let's step away for our national anthem, as we have the United States and Canada to honor here tonight.
Kabang Energy Candy contains 100% of vitamins B6, B12, and C plus ginseng. And the best part is no caffeine. Kabang Energy Candy is sold everywhere, including participating Walgreens. Kabang Energy Candy, it's bangalicious.
The Upstate Racing League Season 10 on the Turn 3 Racing Network is brought to you by M&M Country Store, Dr. Noy's Custom Paint and Diecast, Coach's Corner, Kabang Energy Candy.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we're wrapping up the warm-up session before these drivers are released onto the speedway to do some outstanding racing here tonight in the Beth's Colorful Creation 125 Throwback Series. And man, I'll tell you what, some of these cars have some great paint schemes here tonight, Kelly.
Yeah, over on the Upstate Racing League Facebook page, they have been putting on different little descriptions of each one of these cars, and throughout the night, I think I will pick and choose through them and maybe make a mention of some of these paint schemes and the stories behind them. We have mentioned a few, like the old Jeff Gordon Rainbow Warrior scheme that we have running around there right now, and there are quite a few great schemes throughout the night here.
All right, so we look forward to getting those insights into the throwback paint schemes. Kelly, I don't know about you, but this warm-up session getting ready to end. That means it is time to go racing.
Yeah, it is just about that time. Drivers going to be heading to the grid and getting ready to take on the last race of the regular season.
So a lot on the line. With that being said, the last race of the regular season, we are going to try and bring you the 10 drivers who make the playoffs, but we'll see how time works and everything plays out. But let's get right into our starting lineup for tonight's main event. Justin Fuller in the 51 machine on the inside of row number 1. On his outside will be Guillaume Fortin. Row number 2 going to be the 25 of Trey Edson and the 81 of Gareth Gonder. AJ Hamill and Matthew Barkhouse making up row number 3. Row number 4 will be Mike Alexander in the 75 machine and Joe Schaefer in the 6. Row 5 going to be made up of the 39 of Bill Martin, and then it is the 98 of Chris Stump.
Jeff Marinac going to be rolling off in 11th in that Jeff Gordon Rainbow Warrior scheme, and Brian Hacker going to be on his outside. AJ Rogers going to be on the inside of row number 7, starting 13th, and the 81 of Jimmy McIntyre Jr. rolling off 14th. On the inside of row number 8 will be the 20 of Justin McDuff, and to his right will be Matt Eddy in the 87. Al Smith Jr. won our LCQ. He'll be starting in 17th with Colin Phillip to his outside. The 64 of Andrew Plank able to survive the LCQ, get himself through, and he will be starting in 19th with Brett Bartels rounding out the top 20.
Matt McLean in the 88 machine starting 21st. 22nd going to Justin Smith. Inside row number 12, that is Brian Rogers Jr. And on the outside, the 99 of Justin Rigsby. Beatty Brissett in the 03. Brian Jones making up row number 13. And our final row here tonight, Jeremy Carpenter in the 7 machine and Wayne McDuff in the 1 as we get ready to rock and roll here tonight for Beth's Colorful Creations Throwback 125. The green flag is out. Justin Fuller into turn number 1. Guillaume Fortin pushing hard on his outside.
Fortin not giving him an inch, really channeling that Kyle Busch rookie scheme. He is giving absolutely zero ground to that 51 and trying to keep him pinned down on the inside. And he is able to really command that outside lane and still holding on strong. They're completely even down the back straightaway. Now the 84 of Fortin getting a nose ahead, but gonna have to drop back now, and 51 of Justin Fuller now trying to take away that inside line. Still 410 fighting back on the high side.
Guillaume in that 84 machine really putting in a valiant effort in that outside lane, but you gotta wonder, how hard is he pushing that car? Remember, we mentioned there are no tires available here in this race, and everyone fighting tooth and nail inside the top 10 in the point standings to stay in there, and Guillaume doing all he can. Gareth Gonder in the 81 machine just set the fastest lap of the race as he battles to the inside of Trey Edson.
Well, the thing is, 410, he's got himself in a good position. He's 56 points ahead of the cut line. I don't think what he does here tonight really matters, so he can fight hard and try to go for his very first win, but now he is starting to lose ground and gonna almost lose to the 25 of Edson, who's just getting his rear end smashed in by the 181 of Gareth Gonder, just smacking into that rear bumper, trying to get him out of the way, but the 25 holding strong and not going to give up third position without any more of a fight.
So Justin Fuller finally assuming the race lead without a challenge onto his outside, but the 84 Guillaume not giving up just yet. He might have a little bit in store, but guys, keep in mind, these drivers cannot take tires, so the 84 pushing that hard, that fast, it could cost him here later on. So now's a good time to take the chance to chill out your tires and try and settle in.
At the same time, though, he forced Fuller to work his tires hard as well to hold on to that inside line, so that could have caused him to burn his stuff up. And we really can't look away from this battle for the lead, because Guillaume looks like he's ready to make a move, and he's now going to bump onto the rear end of Justin Fuller, try to see if he can maybe unsettle him just a little bit. And this battle for the lead, it does not look like it's going to cool down at any point.
We ride on board with Justin Fuller as the 84 all over his back bumper. And Fuller trying to pick up another win on the season. Guillaume, as you mentioned, looking for his first one. This North Wilkesboro Speedway, very unique track in that you go uphill and downhill. And these drivers really trying to put in a good race here tonight.
You kind of go, as you mentioned, you kind of go downhill towards turn one, and you may see it kind of catches guys out a little bit. You're carrying a little more speed than you'd expect into turn one, and can easily send you washing up the racetrack. And now Justin Fuller, he's starting to open up a bit of a gap here over Guillaume Fortin, so he's now starting to really come into his own here and be able to run a rhythm without that the 84 machine bashing in his rear bumper.
Trey Edson holding on to third spot for the moment. Gareth Gonder in the 81 machine all over his back bumper, but Gonder has to deal with the 18 of AJ Hamill, who is right behind him, and AJ has a rear view mirror full of Matthew Barkhouse. So a lot of this field running nose to tail, and everyone just kind of waiting for the car in front of them to make a mistake. And everyone looks like they're trying to settle in and log a bunch of laps, as we do have a long race here at North Wilkesboro.
And Barkhouse is running a throwback Kenny Irwin. Those are N's, not R's. Kenny Irwin scheme. So that's the inspiration behind the 15 cars design here tonight. And he is all over the back end of AJ Hamill, trying to find any sort of way that he can make it around that 18 machine. And we've got a car to the inside. That's the one of Wayne McDuff. So his streak of bad luck continues into the main event as he's still on the grass, looking for a way to get back up onto the racetrack.
Let's take a look and see what happened to the one of Wayne McDuff. He had pulled down to the inside to let lead lap cars go by. Not sure if anything had happened. He does have some damage on the left front, so before our cameras could pick that up, it looks like he had already made contact with the wall.
Battle for the race lead heating up once again as Fortin is back onto the rear bumper of Justin Fuller and trying to look for a gap. But I think here tonight, it's almost seeming like you have to make a gap. You have to kind of shove that other driver out of the way. So we'll have to see how Fortin is going to approach this. He's been trying a few different lines to try to get a run on that 51 machine, but nothing has quite worked. Now going to take a glance towards that inside. Not going to work, though.
Joe Schaefer Jr. and AJ Hamill going at it. Schaefer going to get the spot. That leaves the door open for Bill Martin to work over Hamill. Now Martin to the inside in his 39 machine, and Chris Stump gonna squeeze through. So AJ Hamill losing 3 spots there very quickly. Hamill falling to 10th as Matthew Barkhouse, Mike Alexander, Joe Schaefer, Bill Martin, and Chris Stump all work their way by.
Yeah, this is again one of those tracks where that inside line can be so dominant. We saw earlier on that you can work the outside, but now that these tires have really heated up, it's not, the line just isn't quite there at the moment. It may come in once again later on as the tires start to wear off, but for the time being, you kind of, it seems like you want to be on that low side. Oh no, we have a move up towards the front. Gareth Gonder gonna get around Trey Edson. Edson gonna try to fire back down into turn 1, looks towards the inside, not quite gonna get his nose there. Now gonna get it on the inside through turns 3 and 4, almost gets, turns 1 and 2, almost gets up into the 181, but he's able to keep that car down low and not spin Gareth Gonder out. But now he's starting to drop back a little bit towards the 15 of Matthew Barkhouse.
So Gonder,
battle for the race lead. Fortin's now got to the inside of Fuller.
Guillaume to the inside, coming off at turn number 4. He gets a little sideways. That's going to allow Fuller to get the full run he needs. And Fuller, for the moment, holding on to the race lead. Guillaume really starting to put the screws to the 51.
He's putting some intense pressure on the 51 of Justin Fuller, and that's kind of been the name of the game for this whole opening 5th of the race, is that the Guillaume Fortin just smashing into the back end of Fuller, just trying to find a way to get around him. But it seems like Fuller has made that car as wide as the entire racetrack, because anywhere Fortin goes, it just doesn't quite work. Now he's going to get into the wall slightly off of turn 4, but these two drivers are kind of in a race of their own as they've pulled away from the rest of the field.
So the 51, the 84, the 81, and the 25, all sitting 1, 2, 3, and 4. Matthew Barkhouse in the 15, rounding out your top 5. Mike Alexander in the 75 machine, holding on to 6th. Joe Schaefer in the 7th spot. 8th goes to Bill Martin right now. And Chris Stump in 9th, with AJ Hamill rounding out your top 10. Brian Hacker, Stefan Marinak, AJ Rogers, Justin McDuff, Matt Eddy, 11th through 15th. And then Al Smith, our LCQ winner, right now holding on to 16th spot.
And a quick mention of AJ Hamill's paint scheme. He's got it running a scheme based on David Green's 1994 BGN Championship ride. This car is apparently one of his family's favorites because his uncle actually served as a jackman and a crew chief on that car. So a great story behind the reason why AJ Hamill is running that Slim Jim car here tonight.
So a jack man for a crew. I've always wanted to just go over the wall one time for a NASCAR Cup team.
It definitely is a restrictive job, and very few people actually are able to get into it. And it does seem like a lot of fun. Would be a great time to go over the wall, but unfortunately, we're going to have to deal with being up here. But when we've got racing like this to watch, is Guillaume Fortin still pressuring Justin Fuller. It is just some fantastic driving, and again, trying to get to the inside. And as these guys are battling, Gareth Gonder is creeping ever closer, trying to make this a 3-car battle for the race lead.
Gonder in the 81, just trying to close the gap on Guillaume and Justin. Fuller in the 51 machine, starting to creep up on some lap traffic. That could play a factor here, but Most of the drivers here in the Upstate Racing League try and stay out of the way of the leaders, but we all know everyone out on the same racetrack, sometimes cars try to occupy the same space at the same time, but Brian Jones in the 9 machine, the last car on the lead lap, can see those leaders getting closer.
Just saw a big slide from Fortan coming off at turn 4. Looks like he may have just got on the throttle a little bit too hard. And the thing is, that is going to overheat those rear tires, so we'll have to take a lap or two to just calm it down a little, let the tires cool off. But that mistake really allowed Gareth Gonder to kind of get himself into this fight. He's now essentially the same. Oh, just behind them, Edson goes sideways, a little bit of a tap from the 15, and Edson goes around. First caution of the night.
Trey Edson in the 25 is going to go around as the yellow flag comes out. Mike Alexander through the grass to try and miss this one. We'll take one more look at that as the 15 of Barkhouse tried to stick his nose to the inside, and it just did not work out. So the 25 pointed in the wrong direction here.
And the 15 of Barkhouse kind of raising his hand, saying that, yeah, that one was me. And if you take a look at it, it is close. These drivers were driving very close, but just a little bit of a washout from the 15 kind of gets into that 25 and sends Edson around, unfortunately. So that is going to cost the 25. He's going to go all the way to the back of the field, but he will be joined there by the 15 of Matthew Barkhouse.
I have a great idea for a league. Let's put the 2 cars who were just involved in a crash at the tail end of the field.
Well, hopefully that these guys don't have any ill will over that wreck. It does seem like Barkhouse wasn't really trying to spin him around. It was just a little bit of a mistake, and we'll see. Maybe these guys will actually end up working together and maybe cut their way through the field. One thing this will do, though, is another restart, and if it's going to be as exciting as their initial start with Fortan really trying to battle Fuller side by side for about 5 or 6 laps, I mean, I'm looking forward to this restart then.
Yeah, you're right, Kelly. Absolutely. The way that Guillaume attacked that initial start, you got to wonder if he's got that idea in his head as well. And Justin, you know, maybe he's thinking the same thing. Maybe Justin wants to try and not have that happen again. But man, I'll tell you what, it's gonna be a good one. I'm excited for this.
One difference though on this start is going to be that Fuller is now going to be in control of the restart. With the initial start, they had to go on the green flag. Now Fuller, as soon as they hit their restart box that was kind of discussed in the drivers meeting before the race, as soon as they hit that box, Fuller has full control. He can go whenever he wants, and he kind of gives him advantage over Fortan, because Fortan doesn't know exactly when that 51 machine is going to launch, and that may allow Fuller to kind of clear the 84 before they go into turn 1.
All right, so as the field cycles around, we get ready to wrap up this first caution of our main event. Drivers stack up side by side. Justin Fuller, Guillaume Fortin on row number 1. Row number 2 going to be Gareth Gonder and the 75 of Mike Alexander. Then it's Joe Schaefer and Bill Martin in row number 3. Kelly, there's 3 Canadians in the top 5. Is there an insurrection going on here in North Wilkesboro?
Well, there's North in the name, so we try to claim it. But now the Fuller going to launch off the corner, and that is going to be problems for Fortan. He spins the tires just a little bit, and he's going to now have that 181 machine to his inside. They're going to be door to door coming down the back straightaway. Is Fortan going to get a good enough drive? Almost gets clear of Gonder going into turn 3, but Gonder now fighting back, getting a good run through the corner. Now side by side again off of turn number 4. And Fuller, seeing this in his rearview mirror, is going to try to open the gap as much as he can.
We ride on board with the 81 of Gareth Gonder. He is on the inside. Justin Fuller in the 51 trying to break away. Guillaume still battling on that outside lane. Guillaume going to be able to hold on to it as the yellow flag comes out. We're going to stack them up one more time.
And it is the 64 of Andrew Plank, a single car spin, getting a little bit of a tag from behind from Brett Bartels through turns 3 and 4. And that's going to end with Plank facing the wrong direction, but he was able to keep it off the wall very nicely. He got very close to that outside wall on turn 4, but was able to just keep it down and get himself back underway with really minimal damage.
Yeah, just that contact was all that happened to the 64. As you say, very minimal damage.
Well, while we're under caution, we'd like to take a quick look at another one of our paint schemes, and that's going to be the 20 of Justin McDuff, for Empire Racing. And he's coming into tonight's race running the first ever Arts Barbershop scheme that he ever ran in the Upstate Racing League, and he's kind of running that in celebration of Art's retirement. As mentioned, Art from Art Barbershop has been a long-time supporter of the Upstate Racing League, and he has decided to hang it up this year, and he is going to be enjoying his retirement. So from the Upstate Racing League, we wish him all the best in his retirement, and we'd like to thank him for being a long-time supporter of our league.
How about that? Art getting to step away from that and retire. I mean, man, that's just cool. Anytime you get to hear about someone able to retire, that to me is just outstanding.
And it's another one of these great schemes. Every year we have a throwback race here in the Upstate Racing League, and there's always a ton of different schemes that come in, from people just running their childhood hero NASCAR driver to people that just have legitimate connections to these schemes, and also just some great stories like this of a guy running a scheme that he ran many years before in this league, just to kind of celebrate the departure of one of our sponsors. But now the field is going to get stacked up once again. We're going to get ready to go racing once more in a lap time.
Lights do go out on the Ford Mustang. The drivers stack up 2 by 2. Al Smith, our LCQ winner, trying to move his way forward. He has gained a few positions. We'll see if he can get a few more on this restart, but it's Justin Fuller, Guillaume Fortin, 2 drivers who have remained on the front row for every start and restart so far. Then it's the 81 of Gareth Gondner and the 6 of Joe Schaefer, really starting to make his way forward as he's on the outside of row number 2, and Justin Fuller stabs the throttle, and we are back underway as the 51 goes into turn number 1 unchallenged. Guillaume in the 84, however, has Gondner on his back bumper.
Yeah, but that was a much better start from Fortin that time. And Gondner going to get tagged from the 6, going to shuffle around, stack up the field. Looks like everyone is going to keep it pointed in the right direction, and we are going to stay racing, but a big scary moment. And now there is going to be the caution, as we've got the 1, the 87, and the 9 all spun on the front straightaway.
And the accordion effect really coming into play on this one. Matt Eddy in the 87 machine. Steph Marinac really got a shot, and Eddy bounces up and over, almost flipping. Speedy Brissett gets turned as well. Take a look at the 03 as he goes for a spin. Slight contact with the outside wall on his race car. And that is just a product of close racing at the front of the field, causing a stack up that accordions until the back end of the field has nowhere to go.
Yeah, and you can really watch it from an overhead view as the 6 and the 81 get together, and then it just all the contact just travels back through the field until the 24 gets a shot that wasn't quite straight on, sends him up the racetrack into the 87, and really there's nothing those guys back there could have really done to avoid it, as you can't see the guys in front of you checking up until it's too late.
All right, so with that being said, right now our running order is for the regular season championship. our top 10 drivers to go into the championship, however you want to say it. There's drivers all over the place here. Stefan Marinak sitting in 13th spot, Al Smith in 12th. And meanwhile, Guillaume holding on to second place, Justin Fuller in the race lead. Those two drivers looking pretty comfortable.
Yeah, they definitely have themselves in good position, and both these guys are pretty much secured in the chase. They're 65 points ahead for Fuller and 56 points in the clear for Fortin. So really, these guys have nothing to lose here tonight. They're in the chase. What happens tonight doesn't matter. They can go all out racing for the win, and so far that's what these guys have done. Gareth Gonder, he's basically on the other end of it. He's pretty much out of chase contention, being 142 points back. So again, he's just here to try to race for the win and kind of play spoiler here tonight.
Yeah, Gonder 142 points out. Race winner only picking up 100 points. So several drivers are eliminated from contention. That doesn't mean that the ones who are on the bubble are resting easy. Chris Stump in the 98 machine. He came in on the outside looking in, just 14 points to overcome, and now he's sitting in 6th place. That 98 machine just looking to have a quiet night and maybe make something happen.
Yeah, lights are out on the pace car though, and we are going to get back going just in a few moments. Only on lap 56 out of 125. Still a lot of racing to go, and hopefully it's going to be like the start of this race. Pace car down and away. Guillaume trying to jump it, nearly misses it, but he's going to stay even with the 51 going into turn 1. Going to keep his nose to the outside and going to get a little tap, and that's going to allow Gonder to get to his inside, and they're going to be door to door down the back straightaway.
As our Hanson starter shop blimp cam shows us this restart, the 81 has gotten to the inside of the 84. Gonder, one of the faster drivers here on newer tires. In fact, he does have the fastest lap of the race so far. He is battling to the inside, trying to take over second spot, but we saw it on that first start. The 84 of Guillaume on that outside lane, very difficult to make him make a mistake, and the 84 gets a good charge there, holding off the 81.
Yeah, he's doing what he did to the 51 earlier, not allowing Gonder to track out, not allowing him to really get the full breadth of his drive off the corner, and now he is starting to pull a bit of an advantage, nearly getting clear. He's now clear through the middle of the turn, but is he going to be clear through the straightaway? And he is, so he is able to fight back on that outside line and hold on to his position. So now it's starting to seem like maybe that outside line is starting to come in.
We are closing in on the halfway point for best colorful throwback 125. Gonder settling in the 3rd spot. Guillaume holding on to 2nd. Justin Fuller, your race leader. Fuller leading every lap so far. Joe Schaefer in the 6th machine, trying to work his way forward. It has been slow but steady. Bill Martin following in the tire tracks of the 6. And I'll tell you what, Chris Stump following both the 6 and the 39. Those 3 drivers all have moved up 4 positions here tonight.
And a quick mention about that 39 machine, a bit of a mashup in terms of how his car is. It's a Alan Kulwicki tribute car, kind of taking bits and pieces of all the different designs Kulwicki ran over his career and put them all together into one car, and honestly it looks fantastic. It blends together very well, and another one of these great looking throwback cars out here tonight.
You know what, Kelly, I got to tell you, that 39 machine, it did catch my eye, and I put it all together as the yellow flag came out right now. But they really need to talk with their crewmen, whoever is responsible for bolting the hood down, because that hood is always duct taped.
But caution is out on the racetrack once again, and it is the 64 of Andrew Plank getting spun around once more by the 88 of Matt McLean this time. So definitely unfortunate for that 64 machine. That's the 2nd time he's been spun around.
We take a look at this one from the 7 of Jeremy Carpenter. Little bit of contact there, and Carpenter able to keep rolling on, but tough break for the 64 of Plank. The yellow flag coming out just past the halfway point as we work lap 67 of 125. And Kelly, I don't know about you, but I need to rest my voice a little bit, so let's take a quick little break. No one go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
The Upstate Racing League Season 10 on the Turn 3 Racing Network is brought to you by Best Colorful Creations, the official cake supplier of the Upstate Racing League, Carpenter's Tax Service, SUNY's Country Market.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Turn 3 Racing Network, as we are still under yellow here at North Wilkesboro. The best colorful Throwback 125, just past the halfway mark here tonight. And Kelly, Justin Fuller leading the most laps of this race.
Yeah, he's led every lap, or I think he's led every lap so far. There may have been a couple of times that 410 may have gotten a nose ahead of the line. I don't know for sure, but that 51 machine has essentially been the leader for every lap of this race, and he's not looked back since, but has been under fire. 410 has put a lot of pressure on throughout the night, but at the same time, 410 has had to deal with some of his own pressure, especially that last restart with him and Gonder just battling for side by side for a few laps before that 84 machine was able to edge out on the outside.
So as the lights go down on the pace car, we get ready to fire them off once again. Can the 84 find a way to anticipate the 51? So far, Justin Fuller has had that 84 guessing time and time again. Pace car down and away, and Fuller gets to the throttle as soon as he can. The 84 stays right there, but not good enough. And as I say that, Guillaume gonna slot in behind the second spot.
Oh, and just as soon as we get starting, we are going to stop again as there is another caution. The 88 getting involved once more, though this time he's getting involved later in the action, as the looks like Colin Phillip that got sent around by the 42.
Colin Phillip pancakes the driver's side door. We'll take one more look at this one as we ride on board with the 88. You can see the 53 hard into the wall.
Yeah, hard and heavy slam for that 53 machine, and that's going to put some big damage on the left side of that race car. Hopefully he is going to be able to keep it going, but he is down on pit road right now trying to repair that car as much as possible. He is only going to be able to get repairs. He can't slap on new tires as there are no tires in the pit stalls here tonight.
So Justin Fuller holding on to the race lead. Doing a great job here tonight in this colorful Throwback 125. Wayne McDuff once again receiving the wave around, trying to get himself back on the lead lap. Wayne McDuff not having the best of nights here.
Yeah, McDuff just having a bit of a rough night from the start of the, well, he didn't run too bad in qualifying, but LCQ, he had a rough go of it. Now in the race, things have not been going his way, but I'd like to shine the spotlight on another one of our special throwback schemes tonight, and that is going to be the 99 of Justin Rigsby in this fantastic orange car. It is an Earnhardt throwback, and really not one of the usual Earnhardt throwbacks you'd see. So really, you love to see the more obscure throwbacks.
All right, tell us a little bit about this 99 throwback then. Nothing?
Honestly, I have honestly never seen this paint scheme before, but it is, I think, going to be an older scheme, it seems. But honestly, they've got no info sent here for me about this one.
All right, well, there you go. I was racking my brain as soon as you said that. I was like, I'm not sure where this one is coming from.
Yeah, all I've got is Justin Rigsby is sporting this Earnhardt throwback, so that is definitely a little more of an obscure Earnhardt throwback. I'm gonna see if I can look it up here.
So if anyone outside of this broadcast booth can inform us, please do, because man, I'm struggling to see it, but hey, I'm always up for learning. Lights are out on the pace car. Pace car down and away. Justin Fuller in the 51 grabs some throttle, and we get back into it as we start working lap 77 of 125. Fuller out in front. A single file restart due to 2 quick cautions right there. So Guillaume trying to get to the back bumper of the 51. Gareth Gonder in the 81 machine. Solid effort so far here in this race, holding on to 3rd place. But Joe Schaefer, Bill Martin, and Chris Stump, they are trying to make their way forward as well.
And in this league, if they have a caution within a lap of a restart, they will make it into a single file start, which kind of changed how we restarted this time. You didn't see 410 trying to lunge towards that outside, and now we have a caution again. And on the front straightaway, Brett Bartel's involved once more with the 9 car.
Let's see if we can back this up a little bit and see what happens. The 42 looks like maybe he is just in the wrong place at the wrong time, as the 9 machine of Brian Jones bounced off the outside wall coming off of turn number 4. So Brian Jones would not didn't really get put in a good position. It looks like it started down the backstretch. The 64 of Andrew Plank in the middle of a 3-wide situation with Jones on the outside, and the 42 just getting caught up in that one.
Yeah, and it looks like Jones just got into the dirty part of the track, as he was already up towards the marbles through the middle of the corner, but coming off of turn 4, the marbles really get thick there, and it almost seems like as soon as he gets into them, he just stopped turning. That car just plowed straight on, had some severe understeer, and got him into the wall.
'53 of Colin Phillip going to get back on the lead lap. So after a hard impact on the driver's side with that outside wall, Colin Phillip able to rejoin the battle for the race lead.
And a quick mention now to the 75 machine of Mike Alexander, running a throwback that is a tribute to a member of the Canadian Motorsport Hall of Fame, Jim Hallahan. And on the Facebook page of the Upstate Racing League, you can see a great picture of these 2 cars, kind of one really just superimposed into the photo of the real car. And honestly, it's a great thing to see, and it's a very accurate reproduction of that race car.
I will say that 75 machine looks pretty sharp, not just necessarily as a throwback paint scheme, but overall that is a sharp looking paint scheme.
Yeah, it is a great looking paint scheme in that 75 car, and I believe it is actually, yes, it is The 75 was also the number that Jim Hallahan raced in this particular car, so really works out for Mike Alexander to run that number in honor of Jim Hallahan, which, if I'm reading this correctly, is also Mike Alexander's grandfather.
Very cool. All right, lights are out on the pace car. Want to give a shout out to Dylan Canova. Dylan, man, we do miss you out on the speedway. Had a great race last, I believe it was last week in the Kabang 100. But Dylan, not able to run a full season, buddy. We hope you can make the rest of the races this season. Pace car down and away. Justin Fuller gets a good restart. Dylan Canova, oh! As the 84 and the 81 make contact, Guillaume able to hold on to it. They are still crashing everyone everywhere. A huge stack up behind them as this,
and they're still wrecking.
Plank goes up and over.
We're a good, 20 seconds from when that caution came out. I honestly have no idea how a car ended up on its lid, but and seeing it now, looks like Plank, when he was trying to get back onto the racetrack, spun the tires in the grass and unfortunately caught the 9 as he was trying to roll by. But all of that started just from the hard battling that we have had up front pretty much the entire night. Fortan trying to battle with the 81 down into turn 1. And unfortunately, the 81 had his nose still in there. Came in a little high. I think that's probably kind of what caught Guillaume off guard as he came down into the turn, is he was expecting that 81 to be much lower on the racetrack, and unfortunately tags him and at the start of a restart, and when everyone's bunched up, a wreck right in the front of the field is going to cause a lot of problems, and that certainly is what happened.
All right, so a wild yellow flag here that is going to allow, was that Matt Eddy, who was the driver who received a free pass? Matt Eddy does get to go by the pace car. He's going to get one of his laps back. He is multiple laps down in that 87 machine.
And Matt Eddy, after getting involved in one of our wrecks earlier, hitting the wall hard, he's now down 11 laps, but he is going to try to work his way back. Unfortunately, he'll be hoping for a lot more cautions if he wants to get back onto the lead lap, but there are a few cars that are multiple laps down now.
All right, so field going to get stacked up once again behind the pace car. We are working lap 89 of 125. Justin Fuller has been the dominant car so far, but Joe Schaefer, as this is all shaken out, is going to be restarting in second spot. Bill Martin in third. Gareth Gonder in the 81 machine. Right now, looks like he is sitting in fourth place. And the 98 of Chris Stump going to round out your top 5.
Yeah, so this really changes what the front of the field looks like. Fuller now going to have a different car behind him for the first time. That's going to be the 6 of Joe Schaefer Jr. and as well Bill Martin going to be following him. So they are 2 drivers that can really take the fight to Fuller, but Fuller as well going to be able to hold his own. Pace car now down and away. Fuller going to get a good launch ahead of that 6 machine down towards turn number 1, and we are going to get going once more.
So Fuller now has to worry about the 6 of Joe Schaefer, who has been marching his way forward little by little. Schaefer trying to chew away at this race lead the 51 has. And right now, Joe Schaefer in second spot. Laps are winding down, and he just set the fastest lap of the race with an 18.11.
Unfortunately made a mistake through turns 3 and 4, kind of got down into the grass, lifted up that left side of the car and cost him just a small amount of time on that last lap. So going to lose a bit of ground to Fuller, and he's going to have to deal with the 39 of Martin right behind him. So very fast drivers up front.
Started 28 cars here tonight. 23 of them are still on the lead lap, and everyone chasing the 51 of Justin Fuller as he tries to pick up another win here in the 10th season of the Upstate Racing League. And Kelly, we are getting down to about 30 laps to go. You think anyone is going to be able to dethrone the 51 here?
It's possible. The drivers that are behind him have the speed and have the pace, but it's going to be very difficult. We saw that even with Fortin was able to catch up to Fuller a few times, but was never able to mount any sort of attack on him that resulted in a pass. Fuller was always able to defend it and run whatever line that Fortin put him on, and was able to hold on to his lead. So we're gonna have to see if anyone's gonna be able to challenge him. One thing though that may factor in was how much Fuller has had to battle Fortin, and here comes a caution once again.
The yellow flag coming out and the field getting slowed down. Let's see what happened on this one. 45 machine. Justin Smith battling with the 25 of Trey Edson. And I want to say that's a little bit of net code that sends the 45 around.
Yeah, it definitely looked, they were close, but it doesn't look like they quite touched in the corner. But unfortunately, the back end of that 45 machine gets kicked out and spun around, but doesn't look like he really caught anyone else, so he'll be able to keep going.
All right, so yellow flag coming out. That means we're going to step away for just a moment. No one go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
Bowling brings people together.
Right down the middle. You got it. Uh-oh. Good job.
See what you can do, man.
Oh. Wait.
That's a strike right there. Woo! Connect with family and friends. Go bowling.
The Upstate Racing League Season 10 on the Turn 3 Racing Network is brought to you by Eddie's Meat Market. Nobody beats Eddie's Meat. Hanson Starter Shop. Racing Designs. CEG Dealer School. Train, play, consult.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everyone is enjoying the show here tonight as we have 26 laps to go. And Kelly, I'm going to need you to talk here because I have a mess all over myself.
Well, you just put the camera on the 11, and I'll give you a little bit of info on that paint scheme. The 11 of Brian Hacker tonight, he is sporting a throwback from Mark Martin, and this is a great classic paint scheme on that 11 machine, and I think it looks absolutely fantastic. And one of the things I've noticed about a lot of these paint schemes, a lot of them have been painted by a single driver that is racing here tonight, and that's Bill Martin. And he has also been a sponsor in this league. So if you like some of these throwback schemes, well, maybe give Bill Martin a shout over at Dr. Noise. He can maybe make you a car that looks as fantastic as this 11 Mark Martin throwback.
Yeah, Dr. Noise doing some outstanding paint schemes here tonight. Dr. Noise himself going to restart on the inside of row number 2 in that 39 machine. Justin Fuller in the 51 once again going to have to face some stiff competition on this restart. 23 laps to go when the green flag comes out, and here we go once again.
Justin Fuller able to get a great start this time, and now look at Bill Martin to the inside. He's going to try to put the fight to Joe Schaefer, but Schaefer getting a good run off the high side down onto the back straightaway. That's going to force the 39 to kind of slot into position with the 81 of Gonder right behind him. And we've had to keep our focus on this front group throughout the night because there has been a lot of battle for the race lead, but still the field stacked up behind them. Looks like the 17 of Rogers trying to work that outside line over the 98 of Stump.
Chris Stump in that 98 machine in 6th place. Brian Hacker, though, in that 11 machine, gaining 7 positions from the very start of this race. But even though he is sitting in 5th place, our biggest mover in the race, believe it or not, so far, that is the 12 machine of Brian Rogers. He has gained 8 positions, and he has taken a peek to the inside of the 15 here and battling with the 96 of Al Smith as the 15 bounces off the wall.
Open a check up in the field. That's going to send a few cars wiggling. The 42 getting sideways off of turn number 4. He's going to hang on to it, but lose a ton of ground. But some great wheel work from Brett Bartels, kind of bringing in a little bit of his dirt experience to hold on to the race car.
Bartels, the Bartel Builders sponsoring the Upstate Racing League Dirt Series. That's going to be kicking off here before too much longer. And the 42 machine putting in some good practice here at North Wilkesboro for that Dirt Series.
Yeah, it was a great save by him, but unfortunately not really what you want to be doing here on the paved side of things. But looking back up to the front of the field, they've got everyone pretty much into a single file line, now just trying to see where they can make some moves as we are single file through the whole entirety of the top 10. Not until you just get outside that you see the 81 battling with the 96 of Al Smith Jr. Smith trying to get to that inside and try to keep the 81 of McIntyre to the high side, but McIntyre going to clear him and move himself back down into line.
The 15 machine of Matthew Barkhouse all over the back bumper of the 96. Al Smith trying to work over Jimmy McIntyre in the 81. McIntyre really sporting a beautiful paint scheme as well. And Kelly, you got any info on this 81 machine?
The 81, from what I look, is running the same scheme as what he normally runs, so I don't think he's running anything different. But one driver I do have some info on, that's the 7 of Jeremy Carpenter. He's running a throwback to basically one of his own friends. He's sporting what's called the Birdcage car. The throwback to his friend Justin's rookie season, who I believe is now an inspector over at Devil Bowls Speedway.
Well, very cool for Jeremy Carpenter, and right now he finds himself in 21st spot. Carpenter up 6 positions from where he started this race, so he has worked his way forward. We did see that 7 have a good run in the LCQ, get thrown away towards the closing stages of the lap. Shouldn't say thrown away, but the 7 got turned a little bit coming off one of the corners. But here he is holding on to 21st spot.
Yeah, but our attention has to go back to the lead here as Joe Schaefer. He's inching closer to Justin Fuller. He's taken a few peeks to the inside and to the outside, but hasn't started to move just yet, trying to maybe just get into the head of Fuller, maybe make him think that he's going to go to one side or the other. Same time, Bill Martin trailing right behind him, just waiting for an opportunity to try to take out one of these guys and get himself into position. That 6 machine just getting closer and closer to the bumper of the 51.
Schaefer came into this race 76 points behind the race leader, or I shouldn't say race leader, championship leader Bill Martin in the 39 machine. So Schaefer looking very comfortable in the point situation, but he still has to be careful because just one bad race, a final race of the regular season, it could spell disaster if he goes for it here and it all ends up broke.
So he has to play it smart, but I believe he will try to maybe make an attempt for the race lead, because when you're in this sort of situation, you got the leader right in front of you, you can see the race win, you're gonna want to go for it. And as these laps tick down, we're under 10 to go. We've only got 6 at the line this time. And that is going to maybe be an opportunity for the 6 of Joe Schaefer as he gets right up to the 51.
So 6 laps to go. A 3-car battle for the race lead. The 6 gets a little sideways coming off of turn number 2. Bill Martin in the 39 tried to make a move, just was not able to capitalize. And Fuller able to hold on for another lap. 5 laps to go as these top 3 cars all run nose to tail. And all it's going to take is for one of these drivers to essentially sneeze, and it is going to throw it all up in the air.
Yeah, a single mistake from any of these guys will be an opportunity for another. And oh, there's a mistake from the 6 of Schaefer, and that's going to bring Martin right back into this. He's now right on the bumper of the 6, who gets loose again off of turn 2. Joe Schaefer seems like he's having a lot of trouble getting the power down out of these corners right now.
So Schaefer trying to dig hard to pick up the race win. We got 3 laps to go. Justin Fuller, who is running calm, cool, and collected, saying, hey, take the long way around me because I have not seen that 51 come off that inside line yet.
Yeah, he has been defending that bottom line. 2 to go. We are getting towards the end. What is Schaefer going to do to go for this race lead? He's going to get right up to the bumper. Now going to take a look to the inside down the back straightaway. Going to back out into turn 3 and 4. Schaefer not going to give up the white flag in the air. Justin Fuller just has to hold off for one more lap.
Final time around the 51. Looking to bring this home after being the dominant car. Joe Schaefer in the 6. Gonna try and steal the win, but not gonna get it done. The 51 of Justin Fuller picks up another win here in the Upstate Racing League 10th season, and the Beth colorful throwback 125 goes to Justin Fuller.
And that is gonna allow Fuller to tie Bill Martin for the most wins of the regular season. Both of them getting 3 wins. Joe Schaefer getting one of the other wins, and Steph Marinak getting that 8th win. So pretty much all of our race winners were right there up in the front. So some fantastic driving towards the end of the race to close out our regular season.
As the 51 throws it for a sideways loop-de-loop. Parks it at the start-finish line. Joe Schaefer gonna join him on the front stretch. And Bill Martin, our 3rd place finisher, there as well. Let's go ahead and run through our race results for this one. Your race winner, Justin Fuller. Joe Schaefer finished in 2nd. Bill Martin in 3rd. Gareth Gonder brings it home in 4th. And 5th place going to Brian Hacker.
Yeah, some great driving, but we'll have to catch up with our guys after. But at the same time, everyone needs to stick around. I believe by the end of the night, we will have confirmed points. We will be able to tell you which of these 10 drivers will be going on to the chase. So make sure you stick around if you want to know if your favorite driver is going to be going for the championship.
All right, so as we wait for not only our top 3 drivers to make their way into a broadcast booth, we also wait for the results of who makes it into the top 10. That was a very close one. Let's go ahead and see about off. I don't know. We got I can see Justin Fuller, but his mic is muted, so I don't know if that means he's not ready yet. We got both Joe Schaefer and Dr. Noise himself in here. So yeah, could be an interesting little interview. Anytime Bill Martin gets interviewed, it's a crapshoot.
Yeah, he always makes sure that things are entertaining for us on these interviews, and is always good for a few laughs as well.
All right, so Kelly, I'm gonna make you interview Bill Martin. Yeah, so that means you get 1st and 3rd place here tonight. Are you ready?
All right.
let's kick it off with our race winner. That is the driver of the 51 machine, Justin Fuller. And Kelly, take this one away.
Yeah, caught up now with Justin Fuller. Justin, you led from flag to flag. However, it didn't seem to be easy. You had to deal with a lot of pressure, but how did you manage to hold off Guillaume Fortin and Joe Schaefer?
Restarts, honestly. First off, shout out to Joe for running me clean there at the end. He was definitely faster than me, at least in 1 and 2. I felt like 3 and 4. I was pretty much the same all night. I thought I was, at least I thought I was pretty good on that end of the track, but I struggled with 1 and 2. So it was just minimize your mistakes, and it's so hard to pass with these cars, especially at this track. Just minimize the mistakes, and it makes it really hard on those guys behind you, even if they're 2 or 3 tenths of a lap faster, honestly.
Well, we mentioned on the broadcast before we brought you in here, but after winning this race, you tie Bill Martin for the most wins on the season. And what really does that stat mean to you going into the chase?
It means a lot, I guess. I don't think it's going to change my status in the chase at all. I don't know how the bonus points work to start the chase, but it's after last year struggling. I've got a long history with this league, and last year I really struggled to get up to speed and be as competitive as I wanted to be. And I technically didn't win a race straight up. I had one handed to me because somebody got penalized for the final restart. So I got handed a win. So I really came into the season wanting to make sure that I got at least a win, and I wanted multiple wins. And obviously to make the chase. Last year I didn't really run full time either. So to be tied with Bill's a great competitor. He runs these cars a lot, and he's really good with these cars. So is Joe Schaefer. So I mean, there's so much talent in this field that winning these races, no matter how you do it, if you get lucky with the invert, like how I did it tonight and at Oxford earlier this season, it's a good feeling, honestly, to beat a lot of these guys.
And as you said, a little bit of a struggle last season. At this point now in this season, even though we still have the chase ahead of us, you've already gotten as many top 5s as you did last season. And anytime you've been in the top 10, it's been a top 5. So great consistent driving from you. And we're going to wish you luck throughout the rest of the chase. But before we let you go, who do you wish to thank for your win tonight?
I want to thank everybody for watching the race, for starters. I hope everybody had a safe and happy New Year's and holiday season. I want to thank Best Colorful Creations for sponsoring this race. Upstate Racing League, Al Smith, and all the admins for what they do behind the scenes. It's a great place to race. We had a lot of green flag racing today. Yeah, it was a couple wrecks, but the short track racing, this fast of a track, and these cars, it's not that easy. I want to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast. You guys do a phenomenal job. I'm sure I'll watch it back tomorrow while I'm at work. Again, I want to send a huge shout out to Joe Schaefer for running me clean at the end there. He didn't even lay the bumper to me once. So class act by him. Thank Personal Comfort, better number bed, better price for being my sponsor. If you're looking for a number bed, check them out. Great product. I have one, and it's phenomenal. Best sleep I ever had. So thank Trey Itson for putting up my paint schemes all the time, putting up with me with that. So yeah, we'll see you guys at South Boston next week.
All right, we will see you there, Justin. Congratulations once again, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Kelly.
That is Justin Fuller, driver in the number 51, winner of your Beth's Colorful Creations Throwback 125. And now, KR, I believe you'll be catching up with our second place finisher.
I have caught up with our second place finisher, and that is the driver of the 6 machine. Some of you know him as Joe Schaefer Jr. Joe, how you doing out there tonight?
Trending in the right direction. I'll say that.
Well, that is awesome to hear. You finished second place here after setting quick time, a struggle through the field, but you make it up to second place. Tell us a little bit about your race here tonight.
Well, first and foremost, I got to thank Bill, because Bill Martin, for those last few restarts at the end, he was beneath me in the row right behind me and was giving me a break so I could go after Justin. Throughout I really only passed one guy on the racetrack, and that was AJ, and I pretty much had to net code shoulder him out of the way to do it. But that's just how this car is, man. The iRacing has this super late model completely ruined. You can't pass somebody unless you're willing to dump them. So that's really what it got down to at the end for me racing Justin. I'm not going to. He's never raced me like that, so I'm not going to do it to him. But if I wanted to pass him, I would have had to move him, and it's just there's no grip out there. It was tough.
Well, Joe, an outstanding race here, an outstanding season, regular season, I should say, as you are one of the 10 drivers to advance. You came into tonight with a bit of a buffer. No worries from you, I'm sure. But how do you feel your chances are moving forward into the championship season here now?
Well, I will say that I was. I feel as I am. Let me say this: I am hyper competitive. So, getting dumped at Oxford, passing for the lead, and then whatever happened last week, that really weighs on me. That affects me a lot. So, I have a little extra motivation for these next few weeks. It sucks that the invert's pretty much going to dictate who scores the points, but I'm just going to go out there and go as fast as I can. And when it comes to the race, try to keep it clean. Make up ground where I can. Hopefully, catch the right spot on the restarts. I enjoy pretty much all the tracks that pop up in the chase, so I'm pretty excited about that.
All right, man. Well, first of all, I want to wish you good luck in the rest of this playoff championship. But before we let you go, man, any shout outs or thank yous you'd like to give?
Drew Krybeck, Epic Media, Dr. Noise Custom Designs and Diecasts for painting up my cars, and thanks to Al for keeping this league running, and thanks to you guys for running the broadcast.
All right, Joe, once again, congratulations on a solid second place effort here tonight, and we look forward to seeing you battle it out with our other podium finishing drivers here in the championship.
All right, thank you.
Kelly, it's now time to move on to our third place finisher of the night. And I believe you've caught up with none other than Dr. Noise himself.
Yeah, caught up now with Bill Martin, driver of the 39 machine. Bill, you started in 9th place, just missing the invert, but you're able to come home in 3rd, gaining 6 positions. And really, how did you get those positions here on this track?
I passed some cars. Hey, did you know that this week is the last week that Alex Trebek is going to be on Jeopardy? Because he's, gone
well,
now.
I'm Canadian, so really I've heard a lot about his passing. So yes, I was aware that it is going to be, unfortunately, the last night that we see what is considered in Canada to be one of our national treasures.
Right? The gaming world hasn't been this shook up since Bob Barker had to retire because he got to be 17,000 years old. And I passed some cars in this race.
You sure did, and because you've been able to pass so many cars throughout the season, you finished the regular season top of the leaderboard. And how are you feeling about your championship standings going into the chase?
I'd feel better if Alex Trebek was still alive.
We all would.
But I'm doing okay. I'm only bringing that up because I'm looking at Twitter and somebody mentioned it.
Well, I'm trying to shift my focus to the rest of this season. We've got a few tracks ahead of us: South Boston, Nashville, Lanier, and Myrtle Beach. And any of those tracks really kind of jump out at you as a good opportunity to gain some points in the chase?
South Boston, Myrtle Beach, ick. Well, not Myrtle Beach, which I'm pretty sure is where the season ends, isn't it?
It is. We'll be doing 2 races there.
So I will probably not be making my own diecast if that's the case. That's the track in the other league that I blew a tire. I blew a tire, a month ago driving around that track? So I suck at that. I mean, I guess I could try to get better, but I probably won't. But yeah, I blew a tire, so I don't think it even matters how I do in the next few races if we end at Myrtle Beach. I looked at that on the schedule and I thought, I'm screwed. So we'll see how it goes.
All right, well, we will wish you the best of luck, especially at Myrtle Beach. We'll give you as much luck as we can when we get there. But for tonight, who do you wish to thank for getting it done and getting yourself up to 3rd?
Everybody who spun out in front of me, because passing was very difficult. The yellows were coming out at bad times, because when people would start to give up a little bit on tires, by that time the yellow would come out, and then everybody's tires were nice and good to go again. So had it not been for everybody who spun out in front of me, or almost spun out in front of me, I would still be in 9th to this day. So thanks to all those people. Thanks to Joe and Gareth for joining me. They're teammates of mine. Glad to have them in the league. Everybody else rules, obviously. Good job to good old what's-his-face, Mr. Fuller, winning the race. He did a great job. And you guys probably sound great on the broadcast. You always do. Congratulations. Maybe next time do it with your shirts on, but it's you do you.
I don't have a camera on.
Well, that's fair, but I can hear it in
Nobody
your voices.
knows you're naked on the internet.
I can hear it in your voice. It's like, there goes Justin Fuller into the lead, and I'm naked.
Buddy, I got to remind you, I'm Canadian. It's cold. It's winter.
That's true. Actually, Garrett is Canadian too, and he was talking about the fact that he was wearing basically a beanie for half the race, and he's like, "Oh, I'm finally hot."
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming out and talking to us, Bill, and hopefully we'll hear from you again in the coming weeks. Though, like you said, maybe not at Myrtle Beach.
Probably not at Myrtle Beach, but for the rest of the time, I'm feeling pretty good.
All right.
Take care, guys.
So that is Bill Martin, driver of the number 39, our third place finisher. And like we said, always a treat to interview at the end of the night.
That it is. And while we did those interviews, our final 10 drivers who are going to go for the championship were announced. Bill Martin, Mike Alexander, Justin Fuller, Joe Schaefer, Brian Hacker, Guillaume Fortin, AJ Hamill, Steph Marinac, Justin McDuff, and Trey Edson, the lone rookie, gonna battle it out for a championship title.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean for the rest of the drivers their season is over. They can still come out and race, and there is a best of the rest trophy that is awarded at the end of every season. Usually these trophies will be handed out in an actual banquet, but unfortunately, due to current situations, I don't believe a real banquet will be held this year, but I'm sure every driver will get their trophies, though probably in the mail this year.
Absolutely. Without a doubt, Al always does everything he can to reward his drivers. So yeah. So, all right, regular season done and over with, Kelly. I'm looking forward to next week as we get into playoff mode, and we might even see some of these drivers who are not in the playoff. There's some strong names there. They might try and play upset.
Yeah, there are a few strong drivers that just missed the chase for different reasons, really. And a few of these guys that are outside could honestly take away a race win and kind of shake things up for the chase drivers. So even though these guys are out of the championship, each race really means a lot to them. They can still go for a race win. So I wouldn't expect the rest of the field to just roll over and let the chase drivers by. And we have some great tracks ahead of us still. Like I mentioned, we have South Boston next week, then we have Nashville, Lanier, and then 2 races at Myrtle Beach to close out the season. So really a great calendar to close out the year.
All right, with all of that being said, guys, it is time to sign off and go home. Thank you very much for joining us here tonight. The regular season done and over with, then the playoffs start next week at South Boston. We hope to see you all there. So on behalf of myself and Kelly Dahl, the rest of us here at the Upstate Racing League and the Turn 3 Racing Network, y'all stay safe and come back next Thursday.
The Upstate Racing League Season 10 on the Turn 3 Racing Network is brought to you by Eddie's Meat Market. Nobody beats Eddie's Meat. Hanson Starter Shop. Racing Designs. CEG Dealer School. Train, play,